So, wife just called, said there's supposed to be hail tonight, and her spot's taken. So, gonna try. This fucking sucks having to move all my shit. Guess the wife always wins in the end anyways, right? But that's okay. I kind of needed to clean up this mess anyways. But the only thing I'm worried about is it's kind of an organized chaos at this point. So I know where everything is right now, but you know how it is, like, guys, you know where everything in your mess is, and then as soon as you move it, then it's lost forever. That's basically how I'm feeling in this moment in time. So now I gotta pick up all this stuff, move the old block over there, new block over here, the cams on top. Still kind of hyped though about that box, not gonna lie. That's pretty dope. I'm gonna get to throw away some of this stuff, but the real thing that I'm worried about is bolts. So I've got everything bagged, and I'm just trying to keep everything where it needs to be. Because some of these things, like the oil pump here, so oil pump has its bolts just sitting in the oil pump. So I want to make sure the oil pump doesn't lose any of its bolts. But I don't know, kind of an interesting thing. These go with the cams. So I guess just put these with the cams. But then I got all this other shit. I don't know. Kind of just going to be interesting, I guess. Happy wife, happy life. I'm just mostly messing around about complaining. I love my wife to death. She's the best thing that's ever happened to me. She's definitely not hiding behind me with the knife or anything. But I'm going to sweep this out real quick. A lot of dust and shit from underneath the parts. And then should have enough room in here to pull her car in. Because God forbid any hail damage happened to it. Oh, it's happening. I'm getting some ice cream, boys. Heck yeah. This is what I'm talking about. So I've got her spot back. We got a little something in the mail. Oh, nice. Filled with confetti. Shit is going to be cancerous in my garage. Okay, let's see what we got here. Got one of these. Looks like ring set. Don't mind the poop. Manly. Should open this from the other side. Oh, Jesus. Connecting rods. Let's go. Yeah, I was about to say. I was like, why is there 8? I don't have a V8. Okay, so connecting rods are here. And then need to open this up. Need the knife again. Nice. Piston rings. So now all we're waiting on is the pistons. And I'm opening up one of these. Oh yeah. I'm so excited. Ooh, buddy. That is way beefier. Nice. Oh yeah. Heck yeah. So, got a bunch of confetti. Don't think there's anything else in there. Just waiting on pistons now. Well, it's been a couple days since I got the connecting rods in, and think I'm gonna do a PTU fluid swap. So, you know, normally, I'm gonna have to move some of this stuff, but normally, PTU swap, fluid swap, is kind of a pain in the butt, but mine's right there. We don't need that. Throw this away. For those of you who know what that is, you get the joke. Those are knock sensors. So, step one to doing your PTU fluid, take out your engine. Step two, sit directly in the engine bay. Step three, get your wrench. Well, socket wrench. Try and get it in the hole several times. Come on, get in there. Well, not happening that way. Step four, try again. Take the drain plug out. So I did this, I want to say earlier this year. So it really hasn't been that long. So the fluid should look pretty good, but I can already smell it. Yeah. Still kind of gunky, but there's definitely some in there. Oh, it's still even got the red line tinge to it. So let me get this pump out. I just bought a cheapy hand pump on Amazon. So if this is something you're doing, normally you gotta take off your wheel here and kind of weasel through. Well, you don't have to use the wheel. I've seen people use like a bunch of extensions, but because I've got catless downpipes, I can lift up the car and then like just worm the wrench in here a little bit, and then I can get to this. But let's get to pumping this old stuff out, pump the new stuff in. One thing I will say is if you're using jack stands, you want to put in the absolute precise amount, which is 18 fluid ounces. But if the car is completely level on a lift, then you can just pump it to the point where it comes out of this hole. But the thing is if you've got it on jack stands where the front is a little bit higher or the back is a little bit higher, I don't know. Just basically if it's not level, you can overfill it, and then this thing, which is your vent, it starts to push fluid out of the top of it. Which I've had that issue before, and it sucks because it gets on the exhaust and everything reeks. So just make sure the car is level if you're gonna just pump it in until it drips out of the hole. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, get it nice and deep in there. I think we bottomed out, boys. That's how you know you did the job well. Alright, so I cut down these lines so that I can pump it out. I don't know if what the direction is, so I'm just going to try it and go from there. But basically, just trying to make sure we get it in the hole and not all over the ground. So let's try pumping this a little bit. Come on. I think I got the hoses backwards or something. It's not quite doing what I want it to. Or I'm just out of PTU fluid. Oh yeah, she's coming, she's thick. So I'm just gonna pump all this out, and then see it's still got a blue tinge to it. That's what it was before, but frankly I think this piping size is just a little bit too big to get wormed down in there. So Gonna figure this out, and then I will refill and go from there. I guess I might add that this leaking axle seal, despite being on the PTU, is actually filled with trans fluid. I think there's some sort of cavity that's shared in between them. Somebody will probably correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not leaking PTU fluid through here, it's leaking transmission fluid, so doing the PTU fluid isn't that big of a deal. But I got all this crap out. It's obviously pretty gunky, but yep, it just kind of is what it is. You know how these things go with these PTUs only having like half a quart or half a liter of fluid, just a little bit more than a pint. It just kind of sucks. Whoa. She's a squirter. Something else you can do is if you pump out all the fluid and then you can attach a line to this vent. This just right here, that vent pops off, and you can, if you attach a line to it, you can refill from it. Just make sure you keep the drain plug out, and it'll just all siphon in real quick. If I can even keep mine on the fucking PTU, Jesus. So once you get gear oil everywhere, just grab Old Faithful and clean her up, you know, because I can't do anything without making a goddamn mess. She squirted a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. She squirted a little bit. Good as new. So PTU fluid swapped. I don't know. It's just pretty straightforward. If you've got cats, it's kind of a pain in the ass to get to this. That's why they call for removing one of the downpipes if they're going to do a PTU fluid swap. If you ever go somewhere to pay, so that's why it's always kind of expensive. But to do it at home yourself, it's really not bad. So I use Redline shockproof lightweight oil. PTU still there, I guess. So I don't know if this pump's proper for it. It's actually, the lines are kind of big, so it's kind of hard to wiggle them down into the bottom of the PTU. But so all we have left is pistons, and then rotating assembly is going to get sent off to be balanced. Now we're just playing the waiting game, guys. So if there's a little bit of a dip in content, that's why. I'm not trying to push out a bunch of just filler content, but connecting rods in, piston rings, ARP head studs. Lee was awesome enough to get me some lower end bearings for the rods, and then I need main bearings. But it's gonna be a fun time. Gonna go to my grandpa's shop and port up those manifolds, and then I've got the intake manifold over there, and then I don't know, a lot of stuff going on, and I'll get to you guys as I do it. So see ya.